So, Spencer, I'll start with the first question. I usually like to add the second question into it because they seem related. But how long have you been a member of the Japan Society of Boston, and what initially drew you to JSB?
Right. I've been a member of JSB since I want to say September 2017. I think that's when I joined. I had just returned to Boston from living in Japan for 3.5 years,
Wow,
and I was asking some friends of mine, how what's going on in Boston in terms of activities related to Japan, and a friend of mine, who'd been a member back in the '90s, was suggested I join. So that's how it got started. I suppose I should jump in and add in there that I ended up working for JSB for like a few years. So
nice.
from
Um,
October or November 2017 through 2019.
nice. I'm also just curious, where did you live in Japan? What were you doing there?
I was living in Kochi Prefecture in Kochi City, which is on the island of Shikoku.
Hmm.
Um, and I lived there teaching English through private connection, meaning not through JET.
Hmm.
So there was a job posting and I applied and I went over there in 2014. I was really fun teaching English. My goal, though, was to learn the language and sort of attain fluency as much as I could.
How would you describe yourself and what you're passionate about?
Well, that's
It's
a
a
good question.
broad question.
I well, I've always been a writer. I've always been a creative person. And I went to school. I went to undergrad for writing and creative writing, and never thought about Japanese at that point, and never even thought about poetry at that point, which is what eventually led me towards moving to Japan, really becoming involved with the country. But I've always been creative. And then after graduation, I was living in Boston, and I met um, this guy who ended up being my translation partner through a book, and now another book coming out next year, who was going crazy trying to translate poetry by himself. And he was like, yeah, the Japanese is okay for me. Like, I can understand, these kanji, but like, does it sound good in English? I'm just going nuts. So I didn't really have very much Japanese skill at the time, and I was really helping out with the English versions, just bouncing ideas, being a kind of someone that he could bounce ideas off of. And then from there, I began, to get more and more interested in the stuff, the poetry, and eventually, long story short, I ended up living there, and so here I am, kind of today.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's not something I usually hear, especially the poetry angle. Um, do you have a favorite event or program that you've participated in with JSB?
I mean, one of the great things about JSB is that it has so many great, it's not just so many great programs, but that it also has such a wide range of them. I really love that you can do anything from like get a good ramen recommendation to really, have, professional networking sort of recommendations, kind of all the way up to that end of things. I really the just the wide range of events is really something I think is really great about JSB. And some of my favorites just from that era were chopsticks making class. I really enjoyed.
That sounds
They,
fun.
yeah, they a someone from a chopsticks school, like they teach you how to do it over there, and they there's a board connection, I think, and brought over the one of the head teachers, or one of the teachers from that school, I think. And we just spent an hour plus just carving our own chopsticks out of a block of wood. That was really fun. There was another. It was during the Kyoto year. Some faculty from the school, from the, I think it was the, not the College of Fashion, a Museum of Fashion. Anyway, what they ended up bringing over to the United States was a Juni Shitoi, which is a kind of Heian era garb for women that comprises of 12 layers of fabric, and it's really beautiful, and each one kind of overlaps the other. It also takes like 45 minutes to put on. So it was really fun, not only like seeing the thing, and they brought over the costume and they put it on a live model who was our intern at the time. So it was really fun to see the finished product on a real person, not just like a statue, but also to see how it got put together and just the amount of time it took to kind of prepare these people, for their court life. That was really fun. Other events were fun too. Like there was corporate things. I mean, I could go on and on. I could probably
Totally, totally. Especially since
go.
it sadly had to be forced into remote. I think just the audience and variety of types of events have only grown since then. So you're seeing anything from professional business speeches to I did I I did a incense workshop. Actually, I still have them right here, like it's hanging up in front of me. But
Cool.
and that was one of my favorite events. Or I love the cooking tutorials, and we didn't do a chopstick. What was it? Wasn't chopstick making, but it was a chopstick competition with the beans, the edamame beans. And mine
Oh,
was this was before I went to Japan, where I only had like a little bit of chopstick usage at that point, so it was just embarrassing how
they
little I was
say
able to do.
if you can pick up a ping pong ball, but the beans sound hard. That's well, I was in the book club. I haven't actually attended the book club in a while because I've been so focused on the Genji. I was in the Genji group for a while.
Oh, nice.
I'm in the kind of what has come off of that, which is other literature of the time.
Hmm,
I'm really enjoying that. It's a really great group of people. JSB.
absolutely.
So that's cool that
Uh,
you're getting involved too, that you get to experience it a little bit.
yeah, no, even if the event had nothing to do with me personally or one that I
Mm.
helped put together, like I helped put together a Shiba Inu event, which was like tons of people who attended that one across the country and through Japan. Even to just when I was in Osaka, I was annoyed because I am a big Godzilla fan. But that's when they did a Godzilla event, and
Oh,
I was
really?
like, I'm tuning. I don't care. I'm in Osaka for Golden Week. I'm tuning in. Like I'm still gonna listen about whatever this professor has to say.
Oh, that's awesome.
What about JSB makes it special from other groups within the Boston area?
Again, the wide range
Mm,
people and really how unique everyone's story is, and how willing they are to kind of share their experiences. You go to an event and you meet really cool people who have been involved with Japan in really cool ways, and that was something that I think is just unique about Japan Society of Boston.
Lastly, what would you say to somebody who is considering joining JSB?
Um, well, I would tell them to join JSB.
Absolutely.
They should join.
Why
Um,
haven't you yet?
why haven't you joined Japan Society of Boston? And I would kind of say the same thing that I just said, is that you'll attend some really cool events, but really the conversations you'll end up having are really uh, interesting and unique. You'll end up meeting people who just have a lot to share, and you'll learn a lot, just through, even on Zoom, even attending stuff online. Just the conversations that can be started are really great, really meaningful.